What's going on, guys? It's Tom. I'm back with another video. Got my cheaters on. I think these are like, I think they're just like 1.25 or something. They're not real strong, but they're strong enough. Um, but on this video, I wanted to talk about the advantages of getting a military expanded courtesy SRRV visa. Now, some of what I'm going to talk about, probably a lot of it, a lot of these positive points of this visa, this type of visa, are also going to be, included with the other SRRV visas. Because there's like five of them total, right? Uh, I just happen to have the expanded courtesy military one, which is the cheapest. That's the one that there's only the fee is like $1,400, right? That's a non-refundable fee, to process this initial, this visa for yourself, right? Through the BOI, or Bureau of Immigration. And there's $1,500 deposit you have to make from the U.S. to a Philippine bank, and it's just held there, okay? It's I think you can technically use it if you want to buy land, or not really land, but if you want to buy a condo, or I guess if you could do a long-term lease with land, in a house, and I think you can use it for that as, whatever, like some kind of deposit or whatever. However, I heard that if you do use it to purchase like a condo, there'll be a lien on the condo. You know what I mean? Like, even if you bought the condo cash and had no mortgage, there's probably going to be a lien for that $1,500. Until it gets put back. Like, if you down the line, if you sold the condo or whatever, and then wound up putting it back in the Philippine bank, then obviously the lien gets lifted. Or if they know you're going to sell it, you know what I mean? Once you close on it, it'll be fine. But anyway, but the other things, I wrote down these points just so I don't forget anything. Now, obviously, one of the main advantages is, you have a lifetime stay here in the Philippines, right? With multiple entries and exits without any kind of complications. You don't have to worry about constantly extending your, like a tourist visa. You have to constantly do extensions every 2 months, because they don't even allow 6 months anymore. So now it's either 1 or 2 month extensions with tourist visas. So you have to do that for 3 years, and then you got to leave the country for a day and come back to the Philippines to reset everything. And then you start all over again. Then you do the 2 month extensions again for another 3 years. But, that's kind of a lot to do. And it's also not dirt cheap either. You're going to spend probably $400 or $500 a year at least on just the extensions, the visa extensions. Okay. So you don't have to do that with an SRRV visa. Okay. You don't have to worry about ACR cards, like renewing them and all that. You don't have to worry about exit clearances. Okay. Because in the Philippines, if you're here for at least 6 months at one time on a tourist visa, when you leave, before you leave, going out of the country, go to Thailand, go wherever you're going to go, you got to get an exit clearance. Okay. And it's got to pay for it and all that. And it's just another layer of bureaucracy that you have to deal with, with a tourist visa, right? So you don't have to do any of that with an SRV. You don't even have to let them know anymore. You used to have to just kind of let them know, like, hey, email them, like, hey, I'm going to go, in a week or whatever, I'm going to go to Thailand or something, right? And then they would email you back it's almost like a clearance, but it's really not. It's just saying, oh, okay, fine. And then you used to use that email if anyone asked for it, at the airport. I mean, it was a lot easier than doing an exit clearance. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a NBI check or whatever, but it was still a little bit of bureaucracy, right? But you don't even have to do that anymore with an SRV visa, okay? Now, also, you can open personal bank accounts, which I think you could do that on a tourist visa, but I think you got to be here for at least 6 months, maybe a year, for a bank account. But definitely with an SRV, you can open up a personal bank account, no issues at all. And also, and I can attest to this, they will assist you with getting a Philippine driver's license. Okay, someone from the PRA will go with you, will meet you there at the LTO to get your Philippine driver's license. They help a lot because it can be kind of confusing because you got to go get a medical thing first and then you got to go to this other window, and it is actually confusing. It can be, and it's kind of a large sort of area, like building or whatever. um anyway, yeah, it's like Southern Quezon City. That's where the main LTO is. In other words, you could transfer your license, your US or Western license, into a Philippine license without having to take any test or anything, or other than the medical thing, which is kind of brief. It's not really that difficult. Um, but it's pretty easy to do. But and that's where you got to go. By the way, is the Southern LTO, Southern Quezon City LTO office on East Avenue. That's the one place, like at least in Manila, where you would go to transfer a Western license. Okay, if your Western license has expired, and then you have to start from the get go and maybe take a driving test and all that, then you could go somewhere else. I think for that, go to another LTO in Manila or whatever city you're in to do that. So anyway, it was pretty useful. It was helpful, very helpful that they did that and that they do that. You can also get Phil Health with an SRRV with no issues. I think it's like basically $30 a month. I mean, it's a discount medical plan. It's not like a medical insurance. It's basically a discount plan. You could figure on maybe saving 20% off of your medical bill. Plus, you can get into the hospital. You know what I mean? Like if you have an emergency, you're going into the ER or something, it's a lot nicer if you do have a Phil Health card because there won't be any delays. There won't be like, oh, you got to pay first. You got your credit card, you got cash on you, and all that stuff, which a lot of times you would have to worry about if you're just on a tourist visa and with no Phil Health. So anyway, that's a good perk. Um, and I would say finally, right, they offer discounts on certain stores and vendors that are affiliated with the PRA, that are sort of like favored stores or companies. And they will offer generally 10 to 15% discounts to SRRV visa holders. Okay. So that's kind of cool, and they'll email you. The PRA will email you and tell you, hey, this place is now part of our network of discounts. Like I think the most recent one was Medical City, which is there's one in the mall over here where you can get all kinds of medical devices if you needed. And it's not really like a pharmacy. It's actually like one of those medical device stores. But, that might come in handy. You know what I mean? You might need something, from there, crutches or whatever, even temporarily assisting you, in whatever kind of physical deal you might be dealing with. But anyway, and then obviously one of the biggest things that I've mentioned before in previous videos about this visa is that with the military courtesy one, it's only $10 a year to renew the card. Basically, you're renewing the card. It's not like you're renewing the visa or whatever. There's not like a ton of paperwork or nothing like that. It's kind of like, like with the tourist visa, it'd be like the ACR card, just the card, but that's more expensive than $10 a year. But for the SRV card, yeah, it's $10 a year, and you can do it for 2 years at a time now instead of just 1 year. And I think they're working on this because I just did a survey about this. They're talking about being able to do this, like probably renewals in the future. And I'm actually good now until like 2026, like early 2026. That's the next time I have to renew my card. And I'm thinking by then, maybe I can do it online. You know what I mean? Just do it, pay 20, $20 basically in Philippine pesos, or 1,000 pesos or whatever, 1,100 pesos, whatever it is, right at that time. Pay that, just pay it online, like with a credit card or whatever, and then they can maybe send me the card, like LBC or something like that, and I'd pay a couple 250 pesos extra for that or whatever, that's fine, and whatever else they might also include another extra little fee just for the electronic process. And yeah, whatever, man. Because to me, it saves me a round trip to Makati, which is about 2,000 pesos in a grab or a taxi. Plus, it's like 2, 3 hours out of your time, that you're sitting there waiting for your new card. So yeah, I'd be all over it, man. If they went and did this electronically in the future, where you could just boom boom, online, pay for it, then they send it to you like LBC or whatever. Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat, you know. Even if it was another 500 pesos extra or something like that, or like another $10, plus the 220 or whatever LBC, yeah, it's still worth it, you know. So anyway, guys, that's about it. I think I covered pretty much all of the benefits, of the at least of the military courtesy, expanded courtesy SRRV. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.